not one of us.
Who are you?
Step into the shadows with 10 brutal hidden horror gems you can stream right now. From pulse-pounding scares to twisted tales of terror, these chilling pics will crawl into your mind and stay there. Number 10, Estranged.
You don't need anyone else.
January survives a near-fatal accident abroad and returns home, wheelchair-bound and with her memory fragmented, to the grand family estate she abandoned years ago. Accompanied by Callum, the man driving the car that crashed, she tries to reconnect with her mother, father, and siblings. But all is not as it seems. Strange whispers echo down the corridors, siblings exchange hostile glances, and clues from her past suggest she may never have left under benign circumstances. As she chases her own history, she uncovers twisted family secrets that call into question her sanity, her identity, even her survival. Directed by Adam Levins, Estranged wears its gothic atmosphere like a shroud, creepy, suffocating, and haunted by resentments too deep to die. Number 9, The Deeper You Dig.
I need you to help me find out what happened to her, but you can't help me find her.
In the dark aftermath of a roadside accident, the boundary between life and death unravels for a grieving mother and a guilt-haunted stranger. Echo, a teenage girl with a rare spiritual connection, vanishes in the crash, and her mother, Ivy, is left racked by visions and tarot-fueled dread. Kurt, the neighbor responsible, buries more than bodies. He buries memories, denials, and a guilty conscience. But Echo will not stay hidden. As supernatural whispers tug at reality's edges, mother and killer spiral toward a reckoning rooted in trauma, occult symbols, and restless spirits. The film is a slow, burning spiritual horror that haunts small-town quiet with funeral resonance, guilt-laced echoes, and the terror that some truths claw their way back from the grave. Number 8, Something in the Dirt.
In scientific terms, it doesn't really matter. I don't think anything is worth what happened.
Levi, freshly moved into a shabby LA apartment, befriends his neighbor John after they begin witnessing bizarre phenomena. Quartz crystals levitating, strange tremors, and ghostly lights piercing reality. They decide to film their experiences as a makeshift documentary, driven by ambition, curiosity, and desperation. But as the phenomena intensify, their partnership fractures under paranoia, obsession, and unanswered horrors. Something in the Dirt blends cosmic dread, mockumentary realism, and existential tension. What begins as an amateur investigation spirals into a maddening confrontation with forces that refuse to be framed or understood, leaving both men to question whether the real terror lies in the unknown or in themselves. Number 7, The Tunnel.
Directly below one of Sydney's busiest train stations is the forgotten water resource that's causing all the controversy.
When journalist Natasha Warner investigates a government cover-up beneath the streets of Sydney, she and her crew descend into the city's abandoned tunnel system to uncover the truth. What begins as a simple exposé quickly turns into a claustrophobic nightmare as the team realizes they're not alone, and whatever stalks them in the dark is neither human nor merciful. Trapped in miles of forgotten passageways, their equipment begins to fail, communications vanish, and each turn reveals more darkness than light. Panic sets in as they lose each other, their sanity and any hope of escaping the underground maze alive. The tunnel is a nerve-shredding found-footage descent into isolation, paranoia, and primal terror that festers in places no light dares reach. Number 6, Piggy.
Asco de ti, mírala, por favor.
¡Me llaman cerda!
Oink, oink, oink.
Sarah lives under the weight of a cruel nickname, Piggy, and the relentless jeers of her classmates. On a sweltering afternoon at the public pool, the torment escalates. Her bullies steal her belongings, leave her stranded in a swimsuit, and mock every inch of her. Walking home humiliated and exposed, Sarah witnesses something unspeakable. Her tormentors being forced into a van by a shadowy stranger. Torn between complicity, fear, and a desperate desire for justice, Sarah navigates a twisted path through silence, threats, and the dark underbelly of her rural town. Piggy is a brutal fusion of social horror and slasher tropes, where the real monster might be shame, and vengeance is never clean. Number 5, Open Grave. A man awakens in a pit of corpses, disoriented and stripped of all memory, surrounded by silence and decay. He stumbles upon a nearby house where others, equally lost and confused, share the same haunting void in their minds. Tension thickens as they discover remnants of violence scattered throughout the area, with each clue pointing towards something horrific in their forgotten pasts. Paranoia festers, alliances fracture, and a creeping realization sets in. Someone among them may be the architect of their nightmare. As memories begin to bleed back, the truth emerges, twisted and blood-stained, more disturbing than any of them imagined. Open Grave is a bleak atmospheric descent into the terror of lost identity and buried sins, where every revelation cuts deeper and no one escapes untouched. Number 4, The Seasoning House.
You will work for me. You will learn how to be kind to my friends.
Angel is a young deaf and mute orphan abducted in war and thrust into a brothel deep in the woods, forced to serve as caretaker to other captive girls. Under the brutal eye of Victor, she dresses, drugs, and cleans the women before and after their ordeals. Silent, unseen, yet always watching from hidden crawl spaces. When the militia responsible for her family's massacre returns, the balance of control shatters and Angel's buried rage takes over. In the dark labyrinths between walls, she stalks, crafts, and strikes back. The film marries horror and heartbreak in a grim, oppressive theater of revenge, where silence becomes a weapon and salvation a plunge into ruthless agency. Number 3, Grabbers.
I'm pissed.
When a bloodthirsty alien creature crashes onto Aran Island, the remote Irish community braces for terror and discovers the only way to survive is by getting drunk. Garda Ciaran O'Shea, an habitual drinker, is paired with the earnest newcomer Lisa Nolan, who arrives just as mutilated whale corpses wash ashore and disappearances mount. Locals realize the invading grabbers thrive on human blood, but can't stand high blood alcohol content, so the town's survival hinges on a chaotic blitz of pub fuel and drunken bravado. As a storm cuts them off from the mainland, alliances form, love stirs, and the fight for survival becomes a rollicking cocktail of gore and gallows humor. Grabbers is a boozy monster mash that blends creature horror and comedic flair into a weird, wild, and unforgettable night on a haunted Irish isle. Number 2, Little Monsters.
How do you like it, huh?
Dave, a down-on-his-luck musician reeling from heartbreak, agrees to chaperone his nephew Felix's kindergarten field trip to win over the class's teacher, Miss Caroline. But the excursion turns into chaos when a U.S. research facility's zombie contagion breaks loose nearby, thrusting the farm outing into a full-blown apocalypse. Dave, Miss Caroline, and the showy children's host Teddy McGiggle must band together to protect terrified kids from the undead while navigating betrayal, survival, and unexpected heroism. The film terrifies and delights by making monsters out of viruses and by showing how even unlikely heroes can rise in gore-soaked fear. Number 1, Nothing Bad Can Happen.
Genau weiß ich nicht. Was spüre ich denn schon?
Tor, a devout young man drawn to an underground Christian punk movement known as the Jesus Freaks, believes he has found a purpose beyond his aimless existence. When he helps repair a stranger's car as if by divine intervention, he is invited into the man's household and gradually becomes part of their life. Yet beneath the veneer of kindness, the patriarch Benno's cruelty simmers. And what began as hospitality descends into a merciless test of faith, identity, and suffering. Tor endures escalating abuse with unshaken conviction as the boundaries between devotion and sadism collapse. The film is a harrowing psychological horror drama that locks purity against perversion and leaves the soul bleeding in darkness. Here are 4 other movies you have to see. The Blackening.
There's a crazy person out here hunting us. You got Rosa.
A group of black friends reunite for a Juneteenth getaway in a remote cabin, only to be hunted by a masked killer obsessed with cultural trivia and twisted games. What begins as a celebration spirals into a deadly contest where every wrong answer costs blood. Trapped and forced to play along, they must rely on each other and their knowledge of horror tropes to survive the night. Who's watching Oliver? Oliver is a disturbed loner controlled by his sadistic mother, wandering Bangkok's red light districts on a brutal mission of rape and murder. Hidden behind thick glasses and a childlike smile, his life is one of violent rituals and filmed atrocities. When he meets Sophia, a kind and curious woman, he begins to dream of escape and redemption. But the deeper he falls into love, the more unstable and dangerous his reality becomes, right at your door.
Open the door!
I can't.
When dirty bombs strike Los Angeles, a cloud of toxic ash forces Brad to seal himself inside his home. His wife Lexi returns too late and is locked outside, sparking a moral crisis between love and survival. As the hours pass and news becomes scarce, paranoia festers and fear turns their home into a pressure cooker of dread. The Visitors. A family moves into a charming countryside house, only to be haunted by strange noises and eerie events that grow harder to ignore. As their peaceful life crumbles, the father seeks help from a paranormal expert who dies under mysterious circumstances. Shadows in the attic, restless spirits, and unraveling sanity threaten to tear the family apart.